Hello and welcome, family, to another special message from the Ancient Ones. My name is Dr. Mumbi. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life in your own narrative, that you're putting your spiritual journey first, family, that you're putting your ascension, your growth, your restoration journey first, because that is the most important work we should be doing right now. And you'll find that if you're doing what you need to be doing in terms of your destiny, in terms of your spiritual path, then everything in your life will be provided for. And you just have to have faith in that. We really want to thank everyone that supports us on Patreon. We appreciate, love you so much. We do have much more content on there, as well as books that we give to our Patreon family every week. So definitely consider joining for as little as $2 a month, family. I wanted to talk today about the importance of friendship in this season, family, and the importance of knowing your friends. There's an elder who always used to tell me, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Because I'm sure you've heard, they always say that the 5 people that are closest to you in terms of that you spend time with, that you interact with, the 5 people that are in your space the most, your mental space more than your physical space, they represent who you are, they represent your potential, and they represent how high you can go. And so in this season, we're in such a tricky season, family, where, there's a lot of testing. There's a lot of, everyone is I told you, we're in a judgment day season where people are judging themselves with their choices. But for us who know that we're here for a divine purpose and a divine reason, there's a lot that we're adjusting to, that we have to rapidly, outgrow, graduate from thoughts, beliefs, systems. And so a lot of us are rapidly outgrowing those nearest and dearest to us. And we must be able to sense that, family, and to make the necessary adjustments. Look at the 5 people that you interact the most with. How aligned are you with them today? I know there's all this stuff of destiny and, this is my family, this is my brother, this is my sister, this is my husband, this is my wife, this is my twin flame, whatever, all those labels. But all of that is null and void, family. Because right now we're on the ascension ladder, where it's like we're in an in-between space where we're rising so that we can take our rightful positions, so that we can be architects of the new. And in order for us to do that, we have to, go from level to level and layer to layer. And we have to keep growing, family. And the one thing that will change on this growth is your circle, those that are around you. Because if they can't keep up, then you will have to leave them behind. And if you choose not to leave them behind, they will be left behind for you. They will fall from your life because they are no longer a vibrational match. And if you insist on that friendship, or keeping that family member in your life, or keeping that best friend since childhood in your life, and they are a lower vibrational match, or they're not doing the necessary work to heal their minds, to be open, to heal their souls, to expand their thinking, then you will literally block your growth and you will slow yourself down. Unfortunately, family, many chosen ones, it's very few who are actually in partnerships. Many are on this journey alone. Either they started alone, they've been single this whole time, or they've ended up alone. And that's been for a reason, because a lot of the people you were moving with were no longer a vibrational match. And that's why you've lost so many friends. That's why you've had to move on from certain family members. That's why you had to leave certain jobs, because you graduated, family. You moved, you were healing yourself, you were expanding your thinking, you were working so much on this that everything around you had to change. And you see, if we're just free flowing, then all of that will change naturally. But sometimes, as I said, we're creatures of habit. There's certain things and people that we're just comfortable with, comfortable being around. And yet maybe we've outgrown that, and that is no longer a good match for us. And if that's the case, then we compromise our win. We compromise our rising. We compromise our ascension to keep that person around, because you always have to be in equilibrium with those who you're interacting with on a daily basis. So if you're higher and they're lower, guess what? You'll come down. If you're further ahead and they're a bit behind, guess what? You'll slow down so they can catch up. And, it reminds me of like the famous Kenyan marathon runners, because there's a whole strategy to how they run, family. And, I was watching this documentary once, and they were talking about how at the start, the Kenyan team, and many other teams do this, but the Kenyan team will all run as one family. So they'll all run together. They'll make sure they get to the front, and then they'll share the burdens of the marathon. So whether it's like the wind factor, if you're running in front, then, there's wind that you have to deal with. So you'll see them alternating with who's running first, etc., etc. And there'll usually be 3, 4, 5 guys who are alternating. Some will be in front, some will be behind. Then there's also, because the ones behind, you have to deal with the people who may be elbowing you, trying to get to the front. And so they have a lot of different strategies that they use, to run. But it reaches a certain point, family, where they break free from that. And it's literally every man for himself. And they're no longer running as a group strategy, but it's like now everyone has to go for that gold, have to go for that, silver, whatever. They have to deal with the Ethiopians who have had their own strategy. And so now it's like, we just want a win for the team. And so everyone goes for it. And so now we've passed that season, family, where we had to move as a group, we're all best friends. Oh, we're this, we're that. This is my family. These are my brothers. These are my sisters. Like, we've moved out of those groupings now. With the fall of Babylon, a lot of those contracts came to an end. A lot of our family contracts came to an end. A lot of our marital contracts came to an end, and it's been hard. People have issues, people have invested, people have all kinds of things, and especially if you're higher than maybe your siblings or your family, they won't understand why you're pulling yourself away. They won't understand why you're shifting into a whole new space. But I read something. We've left the season where family was about blood. And we've entered a season where family now is about love and assignment and vibration. And so the reason that you will be entering into any kinds of unions or friendships or creating your soul families is so that all of you can keep each other on a certain high vibration, so that you can achieve the work that you're supposed to do. Because a lot of the things that have delayed us and slowed us down have been these so-called friends, these so-called family members, these so-called lovers or whatever, spouses, that maybe in the season that we met them, we were of a vibrational match. Maybe even we went into our Akashic library, and please watch the show I did on that about discernment, and we entered one of our book of lives, and so we activated, a husband from a previous lifetime or a wife from a previous lifetime, and the bond and everything felt so deep. But that was not for this season. And you see, people's energies are shifting and changing so much, family. This is such a time where people are going up and down, because it's a season where we have to break free mentally. And it's such an individual thing. And some are finding it, the trauma is too much, the pain is too much, healing from this wrong thinking or that wrong thinking is too hard. And yet others have no choice, so they're blazing through it. And it's reached that point now where it's literally every man for himself. You must put yourself first, or your spiritual team and the world will put you first, will force you to put yourself first. And that may not be as pleasant of an experience as you doing what needs to be done, because we all get the heeding of spirit, where spirit will tell you, you will feel it. You will feel when you're no longer a vibrational match for someone, family. And for a lot of chosen ones, stop carrying the conversation, stop carrying the relationships, Stop carrying the friendships. Do your bit, but don't overdo. Because sometimes we'll find ourselves, especially if you're highly empathic. I hope I'm not all over the place with this because the message is just so intense and it's something that I'm living through too. And you'll find that, sometimes you have a certain, because you're an empath and you have a bright light, you have a big energy, you will energetically carry your relationships where you're the one. Like if you stop talking, there'd be no conversation. If you stopped doing, there'd be no meeting and activities and doing this and doing that. And so it's because of all the energy that you put into that relationship that relationship is. But if you pull back your energy, which you need to focus on yourself to get you to the highest level that you need to get to now, then a lot of things would fall away from your life. A lot of friendships and relationships would totally take on a different shape, a different face. And you'd start seeing people for who they really are. And maybe I'll just do a separate show on that, on the importance of pulling back in this season. But remember, family, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Take time to look at the people who are around you, who are surrounding you at this time. Take time to reevaluate your relationships, family. To reevaluate the situationships and the friendships that you have. Do they represent who you're becoming? Do they represent who you're being called to be? Because it's the highest you that is calling you to reach that highest level, that is guiding you through this process. Anyway, let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Wake up, Africa! Welcome back, family, to a special message from the Ancient Ones. A special shout out to everyone that has subscribed to the channel. Go ahead and follow us on our podcast, our spiritual podcast, Dr. Mumbi Show. We will be delving deeper into some of the real spiritual nitty-gritties on there. And we also have one that is purely news, Wake Up Africa. So definitely check it out. And thanks to everyone that supports us with love donations. We love you so much. Today I'm talking about something that is absolutely pertinent, important, urgent, however you want to put it, family. And it's all about show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. It's a phrase that, I grew up with. And sometimes I never like to see it because sometimes I was really in the wrong company. The thing about being chosen, the thing about having been through these cycles a lot of times is you've experienced such a wide breadth of different kinds of life. And so, you're the ones who will be the ghetto girl hanging out with the ballers or the baller's daughter hanging out in the ghetto. You don't have those limitations that limit many people to certain lifetimes or certain experiences or certain paths where they literally, their vibration couldn't go into this kind of life. They're trapped in their own life. Like that's all they have. But when you've been here several times, which is what chosen ones are, which is what masters are, which is what those carrying the messianic spirit have, then you're able to fit in with a multitude of people, and you can handle all kinds of different people from all kinds of different walks of life. You're not limited to your stream of life, but you can ride the waves of life, kind of thing. But it's and that's an advantage, but it can also be a disadvantage because sometimes you can become tolerant of vibrations that shouldn't be in your life. And I think for a certain time, family, when we were totally in the Babylon system, it was okay for us to be in this life and with these people, hanging out with these friends who may have not been a vibrational match. But now we're in the ascension cycle. All of that is done. We're in we're moving, we're trailblazing, we're those marathon runners where we moved as a group, but now that group thing is over and it's every man for himself running to that finish line. At least one of our teammates has to make it to the finish line. That's the attitude we should have. But that's not the attitude that people who you're leaving behind often have. And most chosen ones have gone through, so many changes in their friendships, so many changes in their work environment and who they worked with and who they worked for. And it's all because you would change your vibration. And as a result, your world had to change. And now we're in such a critical season, family, where you really, for your own, ultimate growth, like the only thing that can limit you are those that you put labels on who are in your life, that you put permanent labels on when maybe they're just passing through. I know you guys have heard that thing of we meet people for a season, a reason, um, a lifetime. I can't remember, a season, a reason, and a lifetime. I think it was 3. I had a feeling it was 4, but anyway, let me know if I've missed one in the comments below. And a lot of the people we're meeting are seasonal or for a reason. Lifetime people are only a third. If we think of that, just those 3 things, they're only a third of the people we'll meet, and not everyone is a lifetime person. It's very, very hard to find a lifetime person because we change so much. And so lifetime people probably come into our lives when we've reached a certain level of vibration so that they can help us carry that vibration for the rest of our lives. What I find, family, is there's been so many false soulmates, false families, false relationships that have been around the chosen ones. Partially it's because we are changing so much and we're now entering spheres and dimensions which very few have entered, even over lifetimes. The prophetic schools were very few. The masters of this world, the ones who were really able to master this game and graduate, are very few. And so those that we can hang out with are getting fewer and fewer and fewer. And many are not the ones that we're connected with right now. And if you want to know if the people in your life are right for you, look at them. Because one thing our spiritual team has been telling us is who we are. They're the ones who constantly have to remind us, yo, you're a future president of Kenya. Yo, you're a healer. You're a prophet. You can see, they even show you things. Like the gifts are so profoundly pronounced right now. And so as they're telling you all these things, you have to look around at your friends and say, can this person come with me? And if you ask, your spiritual team will tell you. And most of the time, the answer is no. Those are not the people that you're supposed to be moving with. In fact, most of the people that we've been meeting in this judgment season and in this season of rising, in this season of ascending, going higher and higher and higher, have actually been, people that that we had very intimate relations with in previous lives, that are here to help us do some profound healing so that it doesn't trip us up in the future, so that we can never be brought back down to this level. We want to close out certain chapters forever. We want to close out certain books forever. And some of us, just to get into this world and how low vibrational it was, we had to come in through one of our lower books of life. And please check out the show I did on discernment to understand what I'm talking about when it comes to books of life and the Akashic Library. Maybe I'll do a separate show on that. Let me know if you'd be interested in that in the comments below. But it's like we had to come in real low with a really low vibration. And then we had to climb within, because it's like we were sneaking in to this world at its lowest so that we could rapidly rise it, family. If you want to know where you stand right now, look at the people that you interact with the most and start to ask yourself those tough questions. Is this person equally yoked to me? Because if there's one thing I agree with in the scriptures, is that thing of equally yoked. Don't be unequally yoked, family. It will slow you down. You can't be a wrong vibrational match. And if you have a certain calling on your life, it won't even be allowed by your guardian angels. Because I feel like for some of us chosen ones, we've yielded some of our power and our free will to our spiritual team. So they will orchestrate getting certain people out of our lives, and they will also orchestrate bringing us together with certain people. But you need to do an audit, family. Check your phone to see, who do you communicate with the most? Look at like who do you hang out with the most? And then really evaluate the content of those people's character to see if they should even be in your life, family. Because I'm telling you, the hardest thing is to not walk away and have that person ripped from your life. That's way harder than asking spirit and allowing spirit to transition you out of those situations. A lot of us held on so much in the beginning of this awakening journey to family, to friends, when we knew they were toxic for us, when we knew they were not equally yoked with us. They were just biological mothers or biological brothers or biological fathers. But when it came to spiritually, we were totally different. And we knew at a certain point, because of all the abuse and mistreatment that we got, a lot of us are black sheeps in our family, that we would have to let them go. But so many of us held on for so long. And in the end, we were ripped from those families. And some of us in situations where you can never go back. You're literally an orphan now. It's literally you and your spiritual team. You have no family. And you're not alone. You're not alone in that. I really hope I haven't been all over the place with this because it's such a critical message. Family, people's vibrations are changing. You are rising so rapidly. Don't stop your rising because of someone who is just not equally yoked to you. Not everyone is chosen. People may think they're chosen. They may like to say they're chosen. And they may be chosen in a different way. But you're on a journey right now. We're at that point in the marathon where we've left the team and now it's every man for himself. So evaluate very closely, family, because the people in your life today most likely will not be in your life tomorrow, unless you feel that you've reached where you were supposed to be. But a lot of us, we're very close to that. We're very, very close to reaching the ultimate of our character, of our giftings, of our power. We're very, very close to that. And that's why this is the most critical season to constantly evaluate who you have around you. And also, family, as you're rising and you're taking on your prophetic giftings, your seer giftings, those were earned in lifetimes. And so those giftings come with the energetic signature of that lifetime. It's like I was recently approached to help some prophets, organize a kind of meeting. I'll probably share more with it here as we go along. And immediately I wanted to jump in, all in, to let's do this, let's do that. I'll help here, I'll help that. But then I've learned now, family, after having my fingers burnt so many times, to just take a step back and listen to what is my spiritual team saying. Because it was not my role. I was not supposed to play a leading role in that situation. I'm just supposed to play a supporting role. And I needed to recognize that it was a supporting role. Otherwise, I would have gotten into that. And that's not even one of my assignments. It's someone else's assignment. But because we're all prophets, and so we recognize each other, and the interaction, the level we're able to communicate on is so deep, we can actually think, I could have been misled to think this is it. And it feels so good when you're a prophet and you connect with another prophet, or when you're a healer and you connect with another healer. You know what I mean? It feels so good, but we must learn to just take a step back and really evaluate, is this for me? Is this my destination? Is this my assignment? Is this my battle? Are these the people I'm supposed to be hanging out with? Be totally honest with yourself. And if it's not, keep it moving. We're literally in the season of keep it moving. Anyway, family, if you'd like me to expand on any issue that I've covered, please leave it in the comments below. Until next time, tuko pamoja.